we're going to try this again. I have no idea what's happening here. Apparently the internet went down because, I pay $150 a month, and most days I have to come in and restart my internet. Like, it's a thing. It's a thing. It's ridiculous. Only because I could get it cheaper, but you got to have a 2-year agreement. And with, the heat and everything, keeping my eyes open for a new space or whatever. Like, if I couldn't find a new space, I can't sign a 2-year agreement. And so $150 a month is where I'm at. And that's what I get. But I've been lucky at night. But the evening, it's been good. So who knows? So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new, I appreciate that you're with me. I have my comments screen on, so hopefully everything is working. We had a technical issue a hot second ago. I did not go on Facebook to see how far we got with it. But I've made a lot of progress on our project. Yay. And now I'm all flustered. It's, it is what it is. So yeah, as you see, it's Live with Linda. We're on Cape Cod, Hyannis, to be precise, and that's how you find us on all the different social media platforms. And I am an authorized retailer for Dixie Belle and Iron Orchid Designs, and we've done quite a bit of both product on this project. So I did get to continuing the transfers, and I do have a video up. It's like a 2-minute video on a couple platforms. It's a 1-minute video on YouTube, so just check it out. You've seen me do the transfers before, and we did the transfers on a small scale in our other videos for this project. And I was talking about how I made more of the resin molds, and we're going to paint them first, and then I'm going to heat them up with the heat gun, and we're going to make them 3D, all right? Because I find that the resin still wants to go flat, and I want them to be with the wings out, okay? Maybe not this one, because I think he's going to be like right here, because he'll stand out more like right there, where these might be. I'm probably going to do, I like to do the holiday bird in gold. That's just, that's what I like to do. So the bird might be gold. And then we have butterflies. I thought this one looked more gothic, because, we have fairies, so I'm thinking they're gothic. It doesn't have to be. I have a dragonfly. And again, the wings, we're going to make them 3D. After we paint them, we heat them up, bend them out, and tape it, okay? I'll leave it overnight, and the next day I can come in, and I'll put, wherever I'm going to glue these, I'll use like the silicone glue, and I will put a bead of hot glue where I want the wings to stay propped open, upward, and hopefully, it's been translating well. That said, the resin does like to close the door, was closing my door when it was heated up outside. So I guess if I have to have instructions, if anyone has a problem with that, in the future, that they can heat the door up and tape it open, and as long as it's cold, it'll stay like that. But I noticed when I had these on my pots outdoors, and the heat from the summer was was allowing them to close. Let's put it that way. So if the tray was holding it a certain way, it got moved, and the tray for the pot had the door, put a little pressure on the door, it was flattening out again. And so, yeah. But we're going to work on another idea for maybe IOD TV for that, so stay tuned. It's an idea, my friend Diane Pruitt at Two Girls Treasure was expanding on my idea and Lynn Bundage's idea. And then I'm going to maybe expand off of that, even though she did get it working well with hinges. But stay tuned, stay tuned. But we have started our windows for, see, there's going to be windows. And instead of an iron patina, I want to do a copper patina. And I know I should get this more close up, but I just don't know how this is going to happen. Let's see if I can get this over more. Don't mind my mess. I got a table. I'm doing a custom vanity for someone. The lady who had the blue striped dresser, that's her piece. Oops, everything's always backwards. So maybe now I can zoom in. So if we go to this, and I can zoom in. There, okay, that works. That's better. And it looks like I have internet. And what I notice is there's a green dot next to the time versus a yellow dot that I had before when I was having problems on my other video. I think the other video was probably in an event where this one probably is not. So who knows? I don't know. It's all technical. All right, so I'm working instead of, this was iron patina. It gives us the iron and rust. This is copper. And we're going to use the same patina green spray. But you want to make sure you're shaking this up really, really well, you guys. Really, really well. Okay. Because there is metal in this paint, along with all the properties that make the paint adhere, right? All the goodies, all that good stuff. We want to make sure it all is blended really nice. I'm going to cheat a little bit. Don't tell anyone. We're going to cheat a little bit. I'm not going to make a palette because it's just these two windows I'm doing this to. And I base coated everything in gravel road. After, of course, this is slick sticked. As we talked about yesterday, I did slick stick everything and let it dry overnight. It has a coat or 2 coats of gravel road, chalk mineral paint, Dixie Belle's chalk mineral paint. And then I tapped on mixture of our copper patina, all right? So I'm going to kind of go over the same areas. It doesn't have to be precise because, you know, even if I think the spray will still react with it. It's just, I think they tell you to do 2 coats and spray it on the wet coat after. Maybe because they want to make sure that you have, because a lot of the metallic paints are very sheer. Okay, but you want to work kind of fast because if it does have to be wet for this reactive spray, I noticed that at least the iron was drying pretty fast. Okay. You know what I am going to do? I am going to grab a palette so I can move these after, because we have other things to paint. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Look at me being all on the ball here. All right, so, you know, you paint as much copper or as little copper as you want. I want to tie in a little bit of that because the gravel road is like the exact color of the iron. So I just want to tie in a little bit of that color to our doors. I don't want them to be just so different. Okay, and we do have copper really on the flowers. I just added a hint more red, but some of the copper does show through. Okay. So, now that that's on, okay, you can make it drippy, you know, put it on so it looks like drips. You can put a solid coat on and have it like a whole copper base. But here's where the magic's going to happen. It's where the copper meets the spray. And then it's got to dry a little bit. And as it dries, you'll see, we'll post pictures tomorrow, at least pictures tomorrow. We'll see what happens tomorrow with videos. This will patina. Now with any coppers, the patina is green. This is iron, so it rusts. The spray should be an actual acid. I know from past experience on using metal paints and patinas, the spray is some sort of an acid that's actually, you know, and if you can't really see, but the little crusting that was on the top of this jar was already patinaing on its own. It has that green tint to it. So, you know, it will patina on its own left exposed, but we're going to seal it with gator hide once we get what we like, so we can kind of control the process. If you want it to just continue to patina, then don't seal it. And that goes the same for the the bronze or the iron. Whatever patina paint you're using, if you want it to continue to oxidize and turn, you know, the rust, or in this case it'll be a green, okay, just don't seal it, because there actually is metal in the paint. Now, depending on the conditions around your house or wherever this is going to be, that could take forever, or you could see a result pretty fast. You know, a couple years, you could see a change. Okay, I think I'm going to go maybe a little bit heavier on the top and have it more copper towards the bottom. I'm just feeling like, you know, time is dragging things down from the top. I don't know. I'm no expert in that field by any means. And now we have our dilemma of making sure we have a clean neck here. So this got really crusty. I guess it's because of the metals. I did my best to clean up that top, but I was getting nervous because we were getting like points where there was getting like little chunks, and I didn't want that falling into the paint, so I'm just kind of leaving that on the edge. Hopefully it doesn't ever fall into the paint. Okay. Hopefully I did a good job cleaning this. I cleaned the cap, I cleaned the neck of the jar, and that's it, you guys, okay? If I want more tomorrow, I can just tap an area of more copper and spray again in that area, but this needs to just rest now, okay? This just needs to rest. This is so confusing. All right, this will start turning green overnight. Tomorrow will be like, wow, what a difference. Right now you're saying, okay, that's nice. I don't blame you. All right, hopefully that doesn't fall into the garbage now. All right, let's see how we're doing on sound. We have 2 bars. I put brand new batteries in between our cockamamie live video action here. And the door. So the door, I went ahead and base coated it again in the gravel road, because we're going to tie in the gravel road to our colors, and we're going to make a blend for the wood. And then we got to do I didn't bring for the stone. I wanted to bring a lighter gray. I wonder if Spanish moss will be enough of a, because it looks like, it is a light green, but I think in this purpose, it might look good. Otherwise, I would use driftwood. All right, so we'll use this palette for the browns and the grays. Oh, yeah. I really should have stirred the paint for you when we had the copper open, but I had it open recently. You wanna shake it, you wanna stir it, you do all that. But for the live, I should have done that for you so you saw that visually. Okay, what happens here, that's why we try to clean that neck as well as possible, because that's what happens, is the paint dries, and then you gotta break that paint seal to get the lid off. Okay, so let's get a little bit of brown. I'm going to use some of these on our haunted house too. That's why I'm tying that in, because I want, since I'm going to have these colors out, I got to get that haunted house done. So we have chocolate. This is the chalk mineral paint. We have it in 4 ounce. We usually have it in 8 ounce, but I think I just sold it. And a lot of the colors I'm going to start carrying all the colors in the 4 ounce. I'm going to wean away from carrying all the colors in the 8 ounce, but a lot of the colors will be in the 8 ounce. The more popular colors will be in the 16 ounce, and only the really popular colors will be in the quart. Now, sometimes I've misguided my decisions on that, and I bought, quarts and something, and we haven't, we don't sell it, so it's like it's a process. Okay, so then I have this tan that I mixed for someone, and it just looks nice for nice warm highlights on a door. We could add like an ochre. Actually, that might look good with this whole look. There we go. Now, you don't have to keep these little liners, but I think it helps with that whole paint going down the neck issue. See, it's getting old, so we have a little crust on the top there. And I'm going to go ahead, the dog's going to start barking. Sir barks a lot. Our little, I don't know I can't remember his name is. The lady is Brazilian, so her English is very poor. And this dog goes for a walk basically every night. And he does that. He's very loud, and it usually sets off Bodhi. No barking. No, you're being a good boy. That Bodhi's a good boy. You are. At a certain point, that little lid liner gets really too degraded to keep in there. You just throw it out then. But I do think it helps keep the paint a little bit longer. It helps the paint from going down the neck of the jar. I might be wrong. It might be just all in my head. I want to shake. This one I'm going to stir as well because I haven't used it much. So things might have settled more. And I'm not really good about turning my inventory, my personal inventory, upside down every now and then. Between you and me, I just don't. I do it for my product out on the shelves, but I don't do it for myself. Do as I say, not as I do. All right. And again, I am not seeing any comments, so maybe no one's caught me live. That's okay. We actually had some people pop in today. I think that will look nice. For like a grayish tone for our stone and get rid of that film. All right. I did not stir. See, that's what's happening. See? Now, this has the dry on the bottom. Depending on how bad it is, you can stir that in. So after the video, I'm going to work with this, and I'm going to really mix it well. It will reconstitute. Even like if I had someone return a boss. Now, in the moment, I took the return because I was so shocked. Because it had done that. The solid stuff had really kind of clumped on the bottom, and it was like all watery up on top. And I had never seen that before. And then come to find out, I hadn't sold anyone that boss in a long time, and it certainly wasn't to them. So they bought it from someone else and returned it to me after they probably let it sit on their shelves for about a year or two without, moving it. So, lesson learned. Sometimes it doesn't pay to be the nice guy. And I guess they think I'm a big time moneymaker or something, that I could afford that, but nope. Okay. And then I have gravel road. Oops, a daisy. I did have gravel road here. Well, we'll get the black out. That's handy. What did I do with the gravel road? Oh, it's underneath the jar. It is there. Okay. It's taking more time to do this paint part of this than it's going to actually take to paint it. All right. I did my fixes with the clay on my haunted house. Okay, so that's ready to go. I just gotta finish painting that up and do my little spiders and ghosts and stuff. I don't know if we'll have time for that in this video. And the gravel road. See, isn't this cute? What I ended up doing was taking like a thin band of the clay to make it like another row of bricks on the bottom. So I just really have to, a couple of spots I might throw some caulk in there and then repaint that and then wash the black on, But I was in a hurry during my live video just to get that clay on, and it wasn't totally fully covered on the jar, so that's why we had a problem. There's a light inside, and when you put the light on, you could see the light beaming from the bottom, so that's why I added more clay to the bottom. And it wasn't all over, but it was enough. This gravel road is a really nice warm gray. I have a dresser painted in it, and I think it's amazing, but it's still here, so I'm gonna have to mark it down again. Probably for Black Friday, we'll mark it down. Gotta move it. I gotta move it. I don't understand why it's still here. It's got a bronze, gilding on it with the seashell molds. I have a stencil in bronze of the seahorse, the big seahorse down the front. So only in certain lights do you really see the seahorse. So it's a great dresser. It's a perfect little size for the small homes here. And it's got the pulled paint across the top. It's great for the guy. It's great for the girl. It's a little bit of glam, but it's not so glam that a guy wouldn't mind having in his bedroom. I don't understand why it's still here. I don't understand. Oh, we got some patina happening here. It's already happening. So again, these are going to be the windows. Okay, they're going over this parts. And there's one on the other side of the door too. Okay, so, and then I'm thinking, you guys, do I or do I not, do I put maybe half the tree on either side along the front here? I could do that in clay. If you're watching, let me know. Should I put the tree on? Let me know. But remind me that I have to make sure that I don't have one open already. So I'm just dipping a brush in water. We have our door. Let's start the back side first. And let's see, we'll have our base color, which is our gravel road. I'm not going to worry about really painting too much of that because it's going to be, you know, on the back side. But the door is going to be open, so I'm just dotting my I's, crossing my T's by doing this part. And with a wet brush, I'm going to start blending everything. Okay, now a little bit of chocolate in there. I don't have to be really picky with this because it is the back side. So what little they see, you just need to give the, you know, the hint that it's wood on this side. I guess we could have really gone crazy and tried to make an opening for that window again, but you'd have to have a really good, sharp, pointy X-Acto knife for that. And just some things just aren't worth it. Okay, so then just a little bit of that light tan, okay? So it could be buttercream for you, even putty wouldn't be bad. It would be a little bit darker than this. All right, sawmill gravy would be nice for this part. And you're just gonna kind of just put it on very streaky. And if you need to add more of the other colors, you can do that. And because I'm not going to revisit this, because it's the back side of a door, that's really going to be hard for anyone to see. All right, just blend and blend. More of the brown maybe, the chocolate. You know, just do whatever, you know, you seem to like. And then, I forgot about it, but we should get like a little chip brush and maybe just do the slightest dry brush. Of the very light. Okay, maybe a little bit of the black now. Just to kind of give it like a green look. Let's see, just a little bit of the black. There. Starting to get the effect. So, just a little hint of, it's hard to tell what because it's wet, but just that it's a wood. All right. Let's add a little more of the highlight color. I'm trying not to do the Bucky Beeves. Okay, so I don't know if that's translating well for you, but it looks good enough to be a wood door for, you know, when it's like that. I think it's good. We can always do another coat, but I'm hoping not to, so I'm doing my best now. It's just paint, you guys, okay? If it didn't come out the way you like, do it again. Just let it dry at this point because you don't want to pull that paint. And I'm probably going to want to do some more dry brushing, so I'm just kind of keeping my bristles dry there. And then let's see. Let's do this part of the door, and then we can maybe dry a little bit. All right, let's do, okay, we have, I'm going to try not to get it over my window because the little splatters could affect things. I already cleaned the glass and we already have our transfers and stuff on there, so, you know. What I did for base coating and is you want to get in like a lot of these deep areas where you know it should be door behind there, and then in here for stone. Just kind of really kind of get it in those really deep areas because that should have been the door. And then get into all the little nooks and crannies. Deal with that now, I guess. And again, this is just base coat. I'm using Gravel Road because that's what we used as the primer for our patina. All right. Now we're going to do the brown. This is chocolate. And then we're going to blend in some of that tan. And don't worry, you know, you don't have to try and follow the grains that are, you know, given to you with the mold here. We're going to seal everything after, and then we're going to wash on like it's antiquing, right? A black to kind of really settle into all those little in between the planks, right? The door planks. Oh, that's looking pretty good. We kind of lost the gravel road, didn't we? It's not essential, but I'm just going to tie in a little bit, just so everything does tie in. Okay. All right. And you can play with this all you want. But for my purposes, I think I'm kind of done. I'm going to give this little band maybe more of a brown look. Because maybe it's a little bit different wood around the frame of the door. But this is something you can see. You definitely want to not be working from your paint jars because you will muddle up your paint jars with all these different colors. All right. Again, we could have used a little ochre in there, but that's okay. I think it's good. You know what? It's going to bother me now that it's in my head that I forgot to grab it, so I'm just going to grab it. I'm just going to grab it. Where's an ochre? Oh, I don't have one open. Our ochre is Colonel Mustard, so hold on 1 minute, and I am going to grab one. Okay. Luckily, I didn't have to. I could reach it from behind. All right. I got to remember to take it out of inventory. I have another 4 ounce and I have an 8 ounce. I did, you know, this is, I did this for my daughter's dresser. It came out so cool with the exploration transfer. It's really cool. So Colonel Mustard, it's kind of a bright ochre. Alrighty. And let's kind of wipe some of those muddled colors off of there and get some Colonel Mustard into our palette. See what happens. Let's see if we add a little ochre, if we can get more of a wood look. Don't worry, I know it is like mustard, right? Don't worry. We start blending, it's going to tone down. Whenever you're doing like a faux wood, it's a good idea to start with the ochre color. All right, so now let's go back over with our other colors. All right. That's looking really good right now. Sorry, you can't see it, so. And then I'm going to wipe my brush, and I'm going to add, see, I'm not going to add any more of the gravel road. I think enough of it's still kind of coming through. I don't know how, but it is. We're going to add just a little brushing of that light tan. It could be sawmill gravy, it could be buttercream. This is just a custom paint that I've had that I didn't want to waste. Just a little bit of a dry brush of the ochre to kind of bring those yellow tones back. And let's keep that edge more of the brown because it's different, right? Okay. I think after we seal this and hit it with a wash of black, I think it'll be good. Just trying to hit some highlights with that light color. All right, and then I would wait for it to dry, but just for the purpose of this video, let's add a little caviar into the details here. Now I could just actually just paint the whole thing because we're going to gild this with the bronze. So if it's in black, it'll look really cool over the black. And then we're going to leave the indented areas the black because that's, you know, inside the door. You know, it's looking in the house or whatever. So we're just going to leave that black. Okay. Again, we'll do, you know, fix that in a second coat. I'm going to do the black here as well. And And I might as well just bronze that. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we just leave this like a wood, like this is the male slot, I guess. Okay. Okay, so you get the idea. We just fudge with this until we get what we like. And then when it's all dry, I'm going to seal that and I'm going to put a wash of black over that. I am not going to paint this ivy on here, okay? Because I got to do my wash of black. And so I'm not going to mess with that right now, but normally I would just paint that all, once it's all sealed and dried and it's, I seal it and I do my wash of black and I seal that. Now I can work on painting the greenery, okay? We can do maybe, is this dry enough to touch? Yeah. We can do the little stone edge here. Again, we have the ivy, so we're going to kind of go around that. In my mind, that's you know, holly, because why not? And for the stone, it's very similar to the rest of the door. I'm hoping that the dried sage translate to more of a gray. We'll find out right now. So this is dried sage. It's not driftwood. It's actually really good. We can kind of go over the top because it does have some texture. Just kind of play with this until you get what you like. If it dries and you say, oh, what was I thinking? That, you know, maybe the Spanish moss just, no, is it Spanish moss? Yeah. Just, it's too green, you know. Maybe it was the bad lighting last night. I'll just paint it again. That's okay. This isn't taking a long time. It's plain and sandbox, see? So I think that's looking good. Right? And then add paint to here, because that's the side of your stone. Don't forget that part. Don't ask me how I know that. It may have come from experience. It may or may not. I'm just not seeing any comments, so I'm not ignoring you. If there's anyone watching, if you're watching on replay, don't be shy to ask questions. All right. And again, we're going to add, just kind of go over and play now with the gravel road and the Spanish moss. It could be driftwood. Driftwood would be more of a bluey color on here. But I'm not opposed to the Spanish moss. But you know what? It's starting to look too much like the door. So maybe we will do that again with the same idea, but with the driftwood. Okay, we'll just dry brush over this with our finger with the gravel road and the driftwood. And I think between the driftwood, the Spanish moss, and the gravel road, it will look really cool. Again, I want to have that all dried. I want to seal it. And then I'm going to put a wash of a mortar color. So I might actually do a lighter color, maybe this tan as the wash in the mortar. And then seal that, and then I can worry about the ivy on here, which is, in my mind, the holly. Okay, so that's that. Since I have some of these colors out, let's work on our shrubs. Colors for the butterflies and things, you know, pinks and blues and things. We're not going to get to that today. So I don't know what tomorrow holds, but you know, it's paint by numbers. It's paint whatever colors that you like. And again, when it's all said and done and it's sealed and we like what we have, I'll heat gun them, tape the wings upward. All right, so that's that. I did paint the little apron on the top. You know what? Let's take a little bit of this color and tap that on. Because this is the color I used for the stamp, for the brick stamp, because it's like a mortar color. You didn't see that. It's getting sealed, so. Okay. I'm just getting so it looks like a texture on there. Okay. I guess, you know what would have been really cool is to put a brush through the clay when it was still wet, and I would have a really cool texture. Again, that was based in gravel road. It's just a cool, natural gray, earthy color. Okay, I think that's good. All right. So that's that. And then this. All right, let's get some more greens out because I got to do bushes now. We have evergreen. Oops. Let's get this out of the way. You know I have it resting on the edge of my garbage can. That is a disaster just waiting. It's waiting. It's calling my name. Oh boy. Okay. It really is stubborn. So I have a hammer, a nice little handy hammer. I finally found it. It was like missing for the longest time. I think it was actually in the toolbox. I don't know why it was in the toolbox. It's really not a tool. It's barely a hammer. Ugh. Okay. So what I've found is sometimes I get a little aggressive with this. So I save jar lids when I'm done with a jar and it's a nice lid, it's not too messy, I'm saving them. Because, you know, I crack them sometimes at this point. Oh my goodness. We're just not getting this one open. So with the chalk style paints, if I left this sit like that in a little puddle of water, after about an hour maybe, it should penetrate enough of the paint, but I'm being stubborn. Oh, I got a crack. So I have a jar lid this size I have set aside. Oh my goodness. Sometimes it's good to have, what did I do with it? Oh, I didn't grab it off the ground. I have, oh here, this will work. Okay. Sometimes you just kind of got to give, oh, right there, I think, is where it's really maybe sealed. If you can get like a screwdriver, the flat head underneath there, it's strong enough to kind of get in there and not bend. There's our problem, I think. Again, if you're really stuck, you just have to soak the upside down in some water so that the water gets up under this neck. But at this point, I got a crack in the top, so I might be able to squeeze some paint out of that. Because that's just not coming off. I know that this neck is really messy, so it doesn't surprise me. So let's see. Let's just go ahead and go with it. Let's just go with it. We're getting a new lid anyway, so. All right, so that's how we're grabbing the paint. And we're going to, I don't want a lot of happy green on these bushes, maybe more on this little fern one. Okay, we're gonna tell our story with these bushes, but it is a haunted house, so I want the idea that they're bushes, but I don't want to commit that, you know, like happy greens. That's just not going to work for me. Of course, you got to be careful that we don't have flying plastic parts either, right? Nice. Playing in my sandbox. Okay. Now, I'm going to have to really clean this lid because I'm using it to, you know, fingers to hold on to it, right? So, I don't know what that's doing there, but it's like a little part. The top of our little fern stuck into some glue here. That's okay. It's not worth the battle. Now this does have one coat of sealer on it, except for where I did the fix at the bottom. So if I need to, I should be able to wipe off, but I'm going to try and kind of fussy paint around there. Okay. And then I have, I think collard greens would be nice. Nice if that would cooperate. Yay. And let's get some of that out. We're going to use some of that tan from the rest of the project there. Because I want them to, you know, they're kind of dead, right? The bushes are kind of dead too. All right. To start working out a plan. This is a problem waiting to happen. That is a mess waiting to happen. I had most of the palette off of the table. Yeah. You know. Let's see, let's get maybe some Spanish moss on this one. Let's get the collard greens at least into the details. These are the mushrooms from Toadstool. It's just the tops of the mushrooms. I did have a couple coats of sealer on the door, but that's just paper, so I'm going to be really careful that, because it's a flat finish as well, so it's quite possible that that needs more coats for the paint not to soak into it. It's really quite possible. And let's see. Introduce some of this, a little bit of that green. Maybe more of this Spanish moss now. Okay, and then maybe some brown and the tan kind of together. Maybe too much of that tan. There we go. More brown. Right? I think maybe a little more of the green, just to pop in the idea that it's supposed to be a bush. Okay, I'm digging that. So now for this bush, let's mix the collard greens with the evergreen as our deeper color. So let's work that into all of this. And we can actually add a little bit of that kernel mustard and give it more of a yellowy green tone so it stands off from the other bush. But we also want this to kind of be dark and decrepit, so we got to be mindful of that. We don't want it to be a happy bush. It's a haunted house. As everyone's getting ready for Christmas, and I have all my Halloween stuff packed away. So sad. So sad. I just love Halloween. I love my Scullies. It's just a thing for me. So if I don't get all the way down onto the surface, that's okay, because we're going to add the black wash around and make it more like a shadow around, because these bushes are in front, right? They're in front, so we can have shadows behind it. Because there must be a street light on, right? I'm just trying to get into all those little nooks and crannies. Okay. If I wasn't so concerned about making a mess, I could have just add more water to my brush and let that water carry the paint down. But I want the house to show behind it. All right, so now let's kind of dry brush some of the green. All right, this is a little bit happier of a color behind. Oh, I got it on the window. And so we're going to wipe that off. You know, we will hit this with the black again, but try not to make more work for myself. Okay. The thing with the molds is you got to get it at all the different angles because you'll be surprised. All right, I'm going to dab the little corner of my brush into Colonel Mustard. Okay, there's yellow. So let's see, we're going to just kind of dry brush a little bit of that on. And you know, we could make it like fall colors, right? Add more like oranges to the mix. Right? And then just for shits and giggles, let's bring in the brown. Just to kind of grunge that up a little bit in spots because it's starting to wither away, right? Okay. Maybe a little more of the yellow now again to kind of pop out some of the details. You know, we'll keep playing until we get what we like, but that's looking pretty good. And I'm going to probably do a black wash in this bush, or maybe coffee bean would be a good choice. It's a dark, 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 dark brown. Okay. So I'm going to keep playing with that. We got butterflies and moths to paint and the whatnots. We've got this patina is looking amazing. Let me do this. Like really, really pretty. Really, really pretty. We've got to let it dry really well. Okay. I do prefer to use the gator hide over the patinas. They do make a top coat for it, but I guess it's a little super stinky. And from my friend, she feels that the gator hide is a good, Kristen Rosenbeck. I just had a brain fart. Mercantile. I just had a brain fart on the business name. But look up Kristen Rosenbeck. She runs the World of Chalk Paint page, and she suggested using the gator hide. She thought that was very durable for the top of the patinas. You want to be careful though when you're working with gator hide and you have it near transfers. You could have problems. So just be mindful of that. You can have gator hide over a transfer, but you're going to want to put a coat, at least a good coat of a satin first. And that's it. I got to call it. I got no comments that I can see, and I'm going to go on Instagram for a hot minute. Thank you, and we'll see you when we see you next. If you if you want any of these products, the patinas are amazing. I have copper and bronze left, and I think I do have an iron coming in my next shipment, which should be in early next week maybe. And or you can always pre-order. And we're out of the green spray though. I do have one coming in. And that's it. You can go to seaporium.com/collections to go right to shopping. Stay sassy. Thanks so much for joining. Bye-bye.